Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June 24th Design Review meeting of City of Lafayette. We start the meeting with a roll call.
Glenn Cass present.
Armand Hadilu present.
John Gray present.
Richard Stanton present.
Thank you. With the 4 commissioners present tonight, we meet the quorum. And second item is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move that we adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is adopted. Third item is public comments for items not on this or an upcoming agenda and within the purview of the commission. Do we have a raised hand?
We do not.
We move on to the next item, consent calendar, meeting minutes of June 10th.
I had one comment that I should have sent to you earlier, but the ARC volunteer wasn't me. At least it better not have been me because I wasn't there.
No, it was.
I think it was Armand, right?
Okay, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I think the minutes were fine. So I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes of June 10th with that
Good,
one
second.
change.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes are adopted and we move on to the next item, 6A, DR 05-20CC, Guerrero, Art and Zoning request for a retroactive change of conditions to revise the approved landscape plan for 49 trees to 18 trees. Plant alternate species than what was approved and remove additional trees not previously indicated for removal at 828 Solana Drive. We have project planner Anatole tonight, please present.
Thank you very much. I will keep my presentation brief tonight. At the last meeting, we discussed visual impacts, which stem from the new residence that was constructed, replacing the old residence, and discussed the potential to plant trees closer up the hill to the residence, screening trees along the driveway to mostly shield from below. And the applicant has submitted a revised planting plan. The majority of the plants shown on this planting plan, I will zoom in a moment, are what has been planted. And staff has called out the new proposed trees in yellow. The applicant proposes 4 additional trees to be planted, 2 along the lower portion of the driveway, here and here, and then 2 closer up to the residence and 1 along the property line. These locations are consistent with where additional pine trees were removed as part of the project. The species proposed are ginkgo, 2 ginkgo and 2 magnolia. The southern magnolia is an evergreen species, so it will offer full year-round screening when full grown. The ginkgo is a deciduous tree and will lose its leaves, providing less screening in the winter. And neither of the tree species are native to California or Lafayette, though staff do understand the balance it takes to utilize both native landscaping, which is appropriate to the environment of the site, as well as decorative landscaping trees. Therefore, staff is requesting the DRC feedback on the species proposed, and if appropriate, request that the DRC recommend for consent calendar at the following meeting, if you are ready to do so. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the staff?
No.
Thanks.
Thank you. So with that, we are going to move on to applicant's presentation.
You were able to pull it up? Okay, cool. How do you want me to start? Carissa Guerrero, 828 Solana Drive in Lafayette. All right. So I'm back here again today to discuss adding more trees per this committee's request to ensure we hide our house from the street view. I have been told that our house is bright white, that you would not have passed it if this was hillside review. Many other comments along those lines from this committee. And these are our neighbors, many of which are hillside. We are not. again, white houses visible from the street. You can go to the next one. These are literally our neighbors. This is our house. So I took the first 4 pictures are from walking down the street. The first picture, you can't even see our house. The second picture, possibly seeing a little bit. Third picture, you're starting to see a little bit of it more. The fourth picture is dead on. This is what our neighbor is seeing. And you're not taking into consideration that the trees that are planted are gonna be growing over 30 feet tall. Which will also, again, hide our house from the street view. This is from the other side. So if you're going down the other side of the house or the street, you're not gonna see our house at all. And then you're not gonna see our house at all until you are visibly right in front of our house, which a lot of times you would have to turn your neck to look straight up to see it. So this is today, actually. This is not a rendering. So I'm not really understanding the committee's concern when it comes to our landscaping and our plans. Again, the trees I added, one's right in the middle. You won't even be able to see that garage. The other one's right at the top middle on the right-hand side. Again, you're not gonna be able to see that either. We were trying to hide our house from full visibility for your guys' liking. Even though our neighbors have complete visibility of their houses and we are on the same playing field. Because we are also not Hillside Review, even though some of these are. And I sat through this last meeting about a couple weeks ago, and it was in regards to second story neighbor, which he's also my neighbor. I had 0 problems with that. However, 8 neighbors called in complaining you guys had their ultimate, you said we want to keep families in Lafayette. This is their home. They want to raise their children. I've been feeling kind of the opposite. I come up here and we've done everything to the book for the city of Lafayette and over years of delays and many times through COVID and everything along these lines. This has taken a year after landscaping just to get to this point, to even pass inspections for our house. And that's disheartening because you say that you care about the people that live in your city, yet you're treating me really terrible. I've been told last time that questioning whether it's even legal to live in our house is though like our kids and myself, it's better off on the street. We bought this house in 2019. My son was 4 months old. He just had his 5th birthday. We still have not passed inspections due to some trees. This is my concern with the city. This is my concern having neighbors come up and approach the bench when it has nothing to do with trees. They just said to be a neighbor, to have good neighbors, you need to be a good neighbor. Well, one of the ladies approached our workers when we didn't live there and asked if they were legal citizens, asked if we even had permits, threatened to call the cops on them. I did what I could do. I called her and I said, look, I'll show you all the plans. I will show you everything. But I had to go to her house after 6 p.m. That was her agenda. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. It wasn't going to happen. We didn't live next to her. So if you want to go to the next slide. This is my backyard. The neighbors that were here, I just want to make sure that you guys understand I'm addressing all the neighbors that came to speak about this project. You can't see them. You can go to the next page. Those are the neighbors that came. They're not even close to our house. They have a huge field in between us. That's not our field. There's no landscaping on that field either. There's no trees on that field. You can go to the next page. This is halfway down that property. You can't even see our house yet. They climbed up that house to harass our family, our project. They have no bearing to harass anyone when it's not even close to their house. And they called a lawyer to threaten us. And they said they couldn't get a hold of us. And so instead of them putting something in our mailbox, they had a lawyer do it. Had no bearing, didn't matter, but this is the people I'm dealing with in the city of Lafayette. We moved here to create a good family, to create a good home, to send our kids to good schools. And yeah, this is how we're being treated over trees. And this is where I'm pretty upset about, because me and my husband worked really hard. This is not family money. This is our money. We worked our butts off to get this property, to make our dream home. And with the years of delays and double mortgages, this is becoming quite the nightmare. So I don't think I have anything else. Oh yeah, another neighbor called in to talk about the drainage.
Do you want me to go to the next slide?
Yeah. So before we moved onto the property, there was no drainage like this. We added a full circle system with drainage that goes from the back of our property all the way around on both sides to then go into a vault, a drainage vault with the rocks and everything to try to keep as much water on our property as possible. And we've done a really good job of that. We've updated everything to ensure that our house is going to collect and keep as much water that we possibly can. Again, we are on a big hill, so the water will flow down. We are also getting St. Perpetua's water that is also flowing down onto our yard. So we have lived through 2 seasons. We bought it in 2018. This was probably done 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, probably. And we've not seen anything shift. No dirt, nothing has been an issue for the irrigation that we put in. But you mentioned you were going to bring an engineer out, but again, that's also a finals. The finals will determine whether we need to adjust it or not. So I don't think we should have to pay for another engineering person to come out to see where we can fall until the finals are over. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
No.
I actually have a question for the staff. In the staff report, it mentions that the review falls under county, and because the permit has been expired, they're not gonna review for the or inspect for the drainage.
Yes, in consulting with the city engineer, I did find out that that falls under the county
Right.
purview. I spoke with the one of the lead engineers at the county,
Sure.
who said that they're, if the permit is not currently open, they
Right.
can't initiate an inspection. If the permit were reopened, which it would have to be to schedule the final inspection, then they would be able to do an inspection, whether it be a final inspection or other type of inspection.
Okay,
But the permit does have to be open for that to happen.
okay, and that's gonna be part of the final inspection. Okay.
Yes, yeah, a grading inspection would be included in their
Right.
final inspections, they would be.
Right.
And that grading inspection would inspect to what set of approved documents?
The civil set. The county grading inspector will review the construction compared to the approved civil set.
The grading and drainage plan.
Yes,
Yeah, the one that we just looked at.
yeah, that is part of the
Right.
civil plans, one
Right.
page of it, yes.
Thank you. So with that, we are gonna move on to, do we have any public comments? No? Okay, thank you. So with that, we are gonna move on to commissioners' comments. Who wants to go first?
I can start.
Sure.
I won't spend time defending the things you said about this group. This group is not here to persecute you. And I think some of the things you said were unfair, but I will not go into that. The reason that we're here at all is that you deviated from approved plans without telling anyone and surprised the city planning inspectors when they came to your property. That's what brought us to this place. That said, I think that the trees that you propose to locate are in locations that make sense. I would like to see, I had asked last time for a cross-sectional view of that, alternatively a street view, but I'm willing to let that go. I agree with staff's comment that the species that your landscape art designer has selected may not be the right ones. Evergreen in particular, I think is important. But I think the 4 trees are reasonably well placed to accommodate what we're after. And I'm willing to leave it to staff to work with you on selection of what those trees should be.
Thank you.
Excuse me, so my thoughts are that the 4 trees, I would agree that they're reasonably placed. The magnolias actually grow well here and they do provide good screening, so I think that, in my opinion, that would be a good choice. And actually, I don't object to having a deciduous with one that keeps its leaves, just to provide some variety, in my opinion. But so actually, I'm okay with what the applicant is proposing with the additional trees. Have any other comments?
Thank you. Commissioner Cass?
I'm disappointed with what was recommended. I don't see any of the 4 trees even actually needed because the ginkgo tree is deciduous. And that's the one furthest up near the garage is what's going to really hide what I find is the white structure of that part of the building. I looked at more detail about the landscaping that was there. Right up against the building is Nandina and heavenly bamboo. It's going to get about 3 to 4 feet in height, so it's not going to hide anything substantial. Just outward from that is the Japanese
April?
privet. So it's a sunshine privet, really nice plant. You know, it's a yellowish plant. It's one of the few evergreen privets, but it's only going to get, again, at a mature stage, probably only about 6 feet in height. Mostly it's going to be in around the 3 foot height. And so it's not really hiding anything. So the trees, the bushes, nothing is hiding the white colored building. You know, I mean, my personal opinion is forget the 4 trees, which are more expensive. I would probably take out the 11 privets and I would probably put in something like Pacific wax myrtle, which you can buy really inexpensive. And it only needs like a 2 gallon. And in a year's time, it will be like 8 foot tall.
Thank you. I agree with my fellow commissioners' comments. I think this could be handled at a staff level. That's what I would recommend. And with that said, I think having one of the commissioners working with the staff to review the new plan would be helpful. With that, I would ask Commissioner Cass if he would be available.
I'm gonna decline.
Sure. Is there anybody else who would volunteer?
I could.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'm gonna make a motion to have a condition of approval for one of the commissioners to review the new proposed plans and work with the staff
Okay.
for plan selection.
Because there's not an approval resolution prepared, I can prepare one for
Okay.
consent.
Sure.
At the next meeting, and that will be included.
Okay, that would be great.
So the only thing that I might like to add to that is, I don't agree with Richard about the deciduous. And I'm curious about my colleagues here. I think the screening should be evergreen. And, I would like to know if we have consensus in which direction.
I think the intent, because the intent is for covering the house, I hear Richard's comment about variation of the plants, but just because the intent is to cover the house, I would agree that an evergreen would be more suitable. type of plant.
Fair enough.
So all evergreen, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Okay.
Evergreen, yes, please. So do we need to make a motion or are we gonna just review the,
Yeah, you can make a motion to continue with the recommendation to staff.
okay,
So,
so,
So it's only a single resolution changed from the original one from 2019. So why can't we just do a verbal and approve it now?
can we reapprove this resolution?
Because it's only one item.
Is it this?
We're approving the landscape plan with the revision of the 4 trees to be evergreen. And with staff approval, with 1 commissioner approval of the final selection.
Yeah,
I think I would prefer to have a motion, but I think the motion can be made now with, with review by one commissioner and staff following
What
up.
they're voting on is the existing resolution that was used to, well, no, because the project was approved by the zoning administrator.
Yeah, we're just,
There's a
we're,
different resolution.
Right, so this is.
we're just amending the 1 resolution on landscape.
Yeah, because the project was originally approved by the zoning administrator, a resolution was not prepared in 2020.
Oh.
So there is no resolution.
okay,
Okay, so the resolution does need to come back. It will be on consent. And it will include a condition as stated that Commissioner Stanton will work with staff on the tree selection.
sure.
So we do need a vote to continue the item to July 22nd, where the item will be on consent.
Okay, so, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we are gonna move this to the next meeting and then, are we gonna vote?
We're talking about putting a consent.
On the
calendar for
consent
next
calendar,
meeting.
okay.
So, Ms. Guerrero, you don't need to be here.
Thank you.
Great, okay, thank you.
With that, we are gonna move on to the next item, which is the art volunteer for June 28th.
Second hand.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes. And, do we have any commissioners' reports?
You asked for vacations in August. I have to amend mine. So mine will be August 25th to September 1st.
Okay.
And any staff liaisons reports?
None.
No? Thank you. With that, we are gonna adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.